The best options trading spreadsheet just got a little bit better. The original version had over 5,000 downloads, had plenty of people to reach out and say how much they liked it, and they wanted to see the new updated version come out, so I'm happy to say it's here now. And some new features on here I think you're going to love. They improve the quality of life of this options trading spreadsheet, but also it gives you a nice new tab to track notational value, so you have that at your disposal quickly to determine if you should be putting on plays and help spread out risk by looking at different sectors. So let's go ahead and jump right into the spreadsheet, show you what's new about the spreadsheet. So first off, this sheet probably looks familiar. Not much has changed here other than type. We'll now show you the type of strategy that you're putting on if it's one of the strategies that the spreadsheet supports right now. And pretty much if it's in the money, it'll come up as red. If it's out of the money, and this will show you like the closest 26 contracts that are expiring. And then everything else has been updated for the new spreadsheet names and everything that's happened. One thing I really want to point out here is the diversification tab. And now what this sheet is doing is it's pulling up all your option plays you have logged already that are still open. So all these cells below row 6 here are plays that are on in this portfolio. I have a bunch of like fake data in here to do this. And it'll show you the amount of risk per position. And that's basically your notational value. Now what this also is showing you is the suggested contract size depending on the risk that you want to put on for a position. So in here I had my net lick was 174,000 and the percent of my portfolio I want risked at one time is 3%. So what this is doing is looking at the trade I'm looking at and telling me I should only do 0.4 contracts, or in this case 1 because you can't do less than 1. But if you're doing like a smaller ticker and like the stock price was say $20 a contract, then this will say, oh, you should be doing 2 contracts on this, or maybe 3 if you want to, and that'd still be at 3% of your portfolio. The other thing that's pretty cool about this is over on the right here. It's looking at all your option trades and telling you the amount risked per sector, and that'll adjust as you put new contracts on. So another pretty cool thing, and it'll show you the graph here, which is a visual representation, so you'd be like, oh, I have way too much stuff on in the communication sector. I should be looking for a different sector to put on. Now, when you're using this sheet, basically what you're going to be doing is editing the orange cells. So if I'm looking at putting on a new play, I type in the ticker here, and then the amount risked would be basically whatever the strike is if I'm selling a put. So if I was selling like 170 put, then that's how that changes, and you see everything else just updates. Like, pretty cool, awesome way to be looking at notational value for your plays across different sectors. Because we know one of the ways to reduce risk is to spread your shots evenly amongst the other sectors that you have available to you. So that's pretty huge. The other big thing that's changed is the actual log. When it comes to logging your trades, it's just got a heck of a lot easier. So instead of having to do like 4 rows to do like an iron condor, you can do that all on 1 row, and it'll tell you exactly what information to put in while you start populating stuff. So for an example, let's say I come over here and I'm going to do a contract on T, and we'll say it's the first day of the year, and it'll expire the 30th. You see that information starts populating in and knows the amount of days until it expires. The current stock price comes in. I click on this cell, and I have a drop-down menu choosing what strategy I want to do. I'm going to do the Iron Condor. I'm going to sell one because I'm going to be receiving a credit. And this is just whatever the price is currently, which will be whatever's there. If you like to track that. If you don't, that's fine too. But another thing that you'll notice is that after I selected the strategy, the cells for the strikes populated with what you should put in. And there's the one giant formula that's going to say, hey, we're running this strategy, this is how we want this put in so that all the calculations work. So the short put strike, let's say I want to sell the 22, I'll buy the 21 long put, and I just overwrite what's in that cell to set this up. And we'll say I received, I don't know, a buck. That's probably too much for that, but just go through and fill in the information that you want. And you see this trade, I'm looking at collecting $99 if it expires worthless. Now, the other thing that you notice is it keeps track of if something's in the money or out of the money, which is helpful because on the quick overview page that'll come up. The other thing you want to look at is the amount risked. So in this play, the spread is 100 wide. So the max risk is actually $100 here, and I'm only doing 1 contract. Eventually, I want to make a formula that puts this in automatically, but for now, I think it's a good exercise for you to think about how much am I risking by putting on this play. And if you're using your diversification sheet here, you should already have that figured out before you put this trade on. So just put whatever the number that was that you figured out in. And kind of neat, you can see already there's the contract that we put in. So this pie has already updated with that information. Much of the other stuff is just making sure that it worked with these new changes that we made. So you still have your quick overview page. You can paste your numbers from your previous spreadsheet here, and then it's set up to go going forward. We still have the tracker page, except now these cells will calculate automatically when you put in your number for your net lick here. And you can see your change on a week-to-week basis. We still have the retire with options spreadsheet they can use. If you want to learn how to use that, check the previous video. The PMCC and the wheel are still here. What you do is you duplicate the sheet, and then you just use it to track that position overall. And I think that wraps this up. If you want to make a copy of the spreadsheet, there's a link in the video description below. I'm also going to make the pinned comment be a link to the spreadsheet as well. What you do when you open it up is you click File, make a copy, and then that's, congratulations, that is your copy. No one else can see it unless you share it, so that's just how that works. So I guess if you like this, go ahead and give it a thumbs up and just share this video with other people you think might like the spreadsheet, because I think it's just a helpful tool to help make sure that you're logging your trades and thinking about everything.